Yo, what's going on, everyone? Arisuju here, and we have a update on Dead by Daylight, and we have a lot of information on the surrender options. We finally got the details as to how that's going to look, when it's going to be triggered. We got killer changes, perk changes. We even got some map changes that might be significant. With that being said, be sure to like the video if you gain value. Now, when it comes to the map surrender options, only one of these have to be present for it to trigger the surrender option. With that being said, it's going to be when all remaining survivors are bots, the killer can surrender without a disconnection penalty. Another instance is when no generators have been completed for 10 consecutive minutes, the killer can surrender without a disconnection penalty. Furthermore, when all remaining survivors are bots, the survivor can surrender without a disconnection penalty, of course. Lastly, when all survivors are in the dying state, the survivor can surrender, of course without getting punished. And the devs do make it a point to know that for people that are using plot twists, that will not trigger the surrender option. And this seems to be just the start of how they're trying to address the go next, epidemic that's kind of going on. Okay, so let's take a look at some status effect updates. So the mending action, decreased self-mending time to 10 seconds rather than 12 seconds. Decreased altruistic mending time to 6 seconds instead of 8 seconds. Okay, so let's talk about some of the killer updates they have. And it's going to be Legion here. There's going to be decreased fatigue time to 2.5 seconds instead of 3 seconds. Increased fatigue move speed, 2.3 move speed was 2.07 move speed. Feral Frenzy will last for another second, and the cooldown will be 5 seconds shorter than what it previously was at 20 seconds. And when it comes to his movement speed earned by getting a hit during Feral Frenzy, it's slightly increased. Furthermore, he'll have several add-on changes. Now let's discuss some changes coming with Xenomorph. So this killer will be getting an increased tail attack charge time, 0.35 seconds, formerly 0.2 seconds. And when it comes to the charge attack sound, apparently it's going to be louder for the survivors to hear it. Although if the attack misses, the cooldown to reset won't be as long, by 0.5 seconds. Additionally, increase the killer instinct range when exiting the tunnel, decrease the time it takes to get out of the tunnel, increase the amount of fire needed to burn Xenomorph out of the crawler mode, increase delay before Xenomorph's heat starts to dissipate to 15 seconds was 1 second. And the decreased the Xenomorph's heat dissipation rate. So for this next change, I'm quite excited about, and that's the good guy, that's Chucky, and they're showing him some love again. So reduced hidey ho mode cooldown to 12 seconds instead of 14 seconds, and reduced time to reach max speed after Scamper. Because I know this killer was like really strong and then they kind of nerfed him big time. I wonder where this is going to put him, because sometimes when you change these killers, it's very easy for them to get very strong again if they were kind of like formerly there. But let me know what y'all think in the comments about that one. So now let's transition to some tear radius adjustment. So Hillbilly will be getting some reduced tear radius. So Hillbilly tear radius will be increased, as well as Blight's by the same to 40 instead of 30. Whereas the Pig's tear radius will be decreased to 24. That seems quite small. Ghostface tear radius will be reduced to 24 as well as Skull Merchant's tear radius being reduced to that same amount. All three of those, or even four of them, was formerly at 32. So let's talk about the map change, Forsaken Boneyard. So apparently they want this to be kind of a shack-focused map, and they want to update some of the tiles to improve the navigation on here. So I guess the biggest thing in this case is they want to have the killer shack kind of in the center. With that being said, let's talk about some of these perk updates. So Quick and Quiet will have a decreased cooldown. Deception will have an increased time during which you leave no scratch marks to 5 seconds instead of 3 seconds, as well as decreased cooldown as well. Dance With Me increase the time during which you leave no scratch marks to 5 seconds instead of 3 seconds, and decrease the cooldown by the same amount, 75, 20, and 15. Red Herring decrease the minimum generator repair time needed to trigger this perk to 1 second instead of 3. And again, the cooldown is decreased by the same amount as these other perks, 25, 20, and 15. Okay, so let's lean into some killer perks now. So let's talk about Knockout. When a survivor drops a pallet, if they move 6 meters away from it within 6 seconds, they gain 5% hindered for 3, 4, or 5 seconds, depending on, what level the perk is. And I do want to say what this dev note here is. Knockout is a perk that is associated with slugging, leading to some particularly unfun game styles. We're looking to make changes to the perk whilst keeping it useful for killers. Yeah, so this is a major overhaul in my eyes. Alien Instinct, let's talk about this perk. So increase the aura reveal duration to 8 seconds instead of 5. Increase the duration of Oblivious to 40, 50, and 60 instead of 16, 18, and 20, so that seems like a big buff. Hysteria, increase the duration of Oblivious to 30, 35, 40 instead of 30 seconds just across the board at every level. So now this seems to scale. And the cooldown is 10 seconds shorter than it used to be. So it's now, after this update, will be 20 seconds. Deathbound, shorten the range at which this perk activates, 12, 8, and 4, instead of 16, 12, and 8. When it comes to Nemesis, increase the aura reveal duration to 8 seconds instead of 4. So we covered killer updates, perk updates, map surrender options, and the new map layout. Please subscribe, it helps out the channel, and let me know in the comments what you think.